Welcome back to Once Upon a Sister.
I'm Faith.
I'm Rosalie.
And we're your hosts. So today we're going to be doing our little June book club of the month recap, which was Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry.
So spoiler warning spoiler warning right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, pause the episode. You know that one TikTok sound that's like, pause the music because what I'm about to say right now is so dang twisted.
I don't think I've heard that. No, I want to though.
Okay, well anyways, pause the episode, go read the book, and come back.
This is gonna be
literally
spoiler central. But
you never heard it's like, pause the music because what I'm about to say is so dang twisted.
Oh, maybe I have and I just not recognizing.
I think it's a
right
bigger audio, but anyway, I'll show you after. Anyway, what are you reading right now?
So I just finished Caraval last night, which I really liked it. I don't think I loved it as much as you did.
I don't even know that I loved it. It was just like I was like high off of the vibes.
Yeah,
and like,
I don't know.
fun.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I gave it like I think I gave it 3.5 or 3.75. I don't know. It was a good time, but the sister was driving me insane through the whole book. I was like, especially as an older sister, I was like, she is trying to help you, and you are making this impossible.
The whole time, like trying to like get.
And aren't the next two books about her?
Well, the next one is like, it's Caraval is Scarlet, Legendary is Donatella, and then Finale is both of them.
Oh, okay.
So like that one focused on Scarlet, the next one will focus on Donatella, and then the third one is both.
I think that's why I didn't immediately jump into Legendary, was because
Did you jump into anything?
Yeah, but like I'll tell you something, but like, because Donatella was like annoying me a little bit, so I was like, I'm gonna hop around and I'll come back.
See you soon.
But yeah, so then today I just started Sea of Monsters, which is the second book in the Percy Jackson series, and it's just so nostalgic. I'm just having so much fun.
In our nostalgic era right now.
Yeah, I'm in my nostalgic era. I'm still like, I feel like I've still been going through a book. I read Caraval. Why do I keep saying Caraval? Caraval.
I don't know what exactly the pronunciation is.
I read that faster than any other books I've read this month, but I've just been in a slump.
I know, when I saw you finish, I was like, oh, already?
Yeah, I don't know, like...
Third book this month?
Yeah, I'm just going through a slump. Like, it's June 21st, and I've read 3 books this month. That's crazy. Wild. That's the least amount of books I've read in a month
It's just crazy because it's like, the times that I know you should read, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Are you just on TikTok or...
Yeah.
I know you haven't had much time anyways, but it's just hard to...
Well, that's the thing is, like, a lot of my normal time that I've been reading, like, we've just been so busy. So we've been going, like... Yeah, I've been exhausted, so I just go to sleep. Because, like, I would read it in the evening, but then we've just been doing stuff and all the way up until bedtime, so... But yeah, so I did start Sea of Monsters.
Oh, when you're watching the show, too, right?
Well, today while I was folding laundry... And I'd been listening to the book for a while, and I was like, I kind of want to watch something while I fold laundry, so I started watching the Percy Jackson movie. But
movie?
Yeah. With Logan Lerman.
Oh, I thought you were watching the show for some reason. Anyways. No. I'm still in the Hunger Games universe right now. I'm on, I think last time we filmed, I was on
doing Catching Fire.
Catching Fire. Finished that, read Mockingjay. Had a crash out over that, and now I'm reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know, I'm just obsessed right now. Like,
She's
I knew I would
almost
be,
Ballad of
but
Songbirds and Snakes too.
I just can't. I can't stop thinking about that world. And I'm like, right now we have to film this book club episode. And I'm like, I just can't. Right now I'm in Panem right now. Like, I can't do anything but think about that.
Because there was an episode like a couple months ago that I can't remember. I read it in April. I read Sunrise on the Reaping. And if you watch the episode, like when we did this little portion where we talk about what we've been reading, I like had a full crash out over Sunrise on the Reaping. And like if you read that book, like my brain couldn't leave the universe. Yeah. Like I was just stuck.
And I'm already like that with the original 3.
Yeah.
Like
so
I read
now
Mockingjay.
She's like going through what I went through.
And she was like, what made you cry at the end? Because I posted a TikTok of like me just losing
sobbing.
It. And I was like, nothing really. Like it wasn't like I was sobbing during the final chapter in Mockingjay. I just closed the book and I was just like and then like every 5 minutes I was sobbing again. Like I don't know. I was just like, I feel like it's that overwhelming feeling of like it's all so awful, everything everyone's gone through, but also just like at the end knowing, even though things are not great, it's like the things that have happened aren't great. Like they're just living their life now, and I don't know. I don't know. I was just crying anyways. But now I'm reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna finish that tonight so that I can start Sunrise on the Reaping, which I'm scared but excited. And then I'm gonna watch all the movies, and then I don't know. Hopefully, I don't get book slump. But
yeah, I think that's another thing. Is like I feel like I have been kind of book slumped since I read Sunrise on the Reaping. Like I don't know, because you know it's hard when you read something that's just so good to you, and then like nothing else is like hitting the same way.
Yeah. I wonder if you should reread something, because people say like reread your favorites during a book slump, which I feel like I haven't been able to test that because I haven't had a slump. Really, like a bad slump. So maybe you can.
I don't know, but I feel like I just did a reread of like Powerless. I feel like the only thing would be like maybe Fourth Wing, because I want to reread ACOTAR, but I think I want to do it in the fall. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm technically doing a reread, but it's Percy Jackson. But I know what you mean, like my current like favorite genre. Favorites. Yeah. Yeah. No, also, side note, our mom was saying, like, she was saying that our mom was saying that, cause, okay, so if you watched our episode last week, we did, like, a reading, was it last week? Yeah. Yeah,
guessing the books from the first line.
Yeah, guessing books from their first line, and our mom was the one that, like, set the video up for us. Like, she went through our books and, like, chose the first line, and we both had to guess, which was fun because normally when we do those types of videos we do it for each other,
so we kind of know what we're doing.
So we both went like 100% blind, and she was saying like, oh, we should do that same concept but from the last line of the books. And Rosie was like, we can't really do that. And then
I was like with fantasy books, because like that's majorly what we read together, at least, like we can't do that. And then she was like, well, what do you mean? And then she picked up Assassin's Blade. I was like, no, like, do not read. And I don't know if the exact last line of that says it. Yeah. But I was like, do not pick that book up, because
you know what happens at the end of that book. You know what happens
at the end of Assassin's Blade. And like, I was just like, no. And then from my reaction, I feel like she understood, like, okay,
maybe not.
You can't.
Yeah. Because I was like, and then I said, imagine if she had done that with Fourth Wing. If you read Fourth Wing, you know. Like, she would have spoiled the whole book for herself.
And
like,
then she also told me that she was like, guess what audiobook I got? And I was like, what? And then she was like, I got Crescent City. And I was like,
she hasn't read ACOTAR. She hasn't read Throne of Glass.
No. I was like, return that right now, because you are not reading Crescent City before you, like, ACOTAR, then Throne of Glass, then Crescent City is the order you need to go in.
At least you could switch Throne of Glass and ACOTAR.
I think you can switch Throne of Glass and Crescent City around, but I don't know. I still think Throne of Glass in the middle. I don't know. But I was just like, no, you can't. I was like, if you're going to read ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, do not read Crescent City first. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I feel like now that because our mom was never really like a fantasy reader, but she's read a couple now because of us. I feel like now she's reached a point where, because she had said like over a year ago, she was like, I tried to do ACOTAR and I couldn't. But I feel like now that she's read, I feel like she could be
more open. Yeah. Also, sorry, going back to Hunger Games. Just because I want to let y'all know, like, because I'm reading them and I'm about to be done with it. Yeah. We are thinking that we can do like a whole Hunger Games episode on all the books and just everything. Talk about it. World. So we're probably going to do that sometime in July. So if you want to listen to that episode, I mean, you can if you haven't read the books, but I would recommend go read the books and then listen to that episode. So just letting y'all know now, so you have time to squeeze those books in, because we're gonna let's see how long that episode goes.
Yeah, that one would be
2 hours.
I'll have to do some research beforehand to make sure I get every point across that I want to say.
I know. At work today, I like made a note. I was like, okay, I need to write down. I can remember the thoughts I've been having during the series, but I'm like, I need to actually write these down so I can remember
to bring it up in an episode. But anyway, we try not to chat too much before we do these book recap episodes, because I don't
want to like be so strict. I just want to. We made a podcast for a reason. Let's just talk.
Let's just chit chat it. But anyway, let's start Shield of Sparrows.
Yes.
And normally we like to put our little book right here, but we both don't have it because it's only available on hardback, and we're both waiting for paperback to come out. And
I'm not gonna Kindle, but the light shines.
The glare was
so
like
I can't
showing.
Put it there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with ratings.
Yes.
What did you rate it?
Oh, sorry, I was pulling out my notes. I rated it 5 stars.
I'm kind of confused because I feel like at first I was thinking like not 4 stars. 'Cause it's not 4, but it's not 5. So I was like, okay, 4.5. But now the more that I think about it, I'm like, okay, I feel like I should just go 5 stars.
Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed this book. Yeah. As I was reading it, I was just getting that like feeling. I was like, okay, this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I know that not everybody loved it, but I really enjoyed the book.
It just hit all the marks it needed to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really good. So tell us what your rating was. Let me pull up my notes.
Let's get into our little notes. No, so this time I did, because we were talking about like, at least for me, I need to remember who the characters are, or like their names. So I was writing down everyone's names, but obviously like it was funny because like I would write their name and then like who they were to the series or to Odessa, and then like as things were going, like I wrote down Banner, Odessa's fiance, General of the King's Legion, and then like a couple chapters later I'm like, okay, ex-fiance, like I had to like change some of the definitions, but it was just funny.
Yeah, I start like again. I've been in a slump, guys. I'm so sorry. I started out writing things and then I just did not do a great job of keeping up with it. It's just hard for me to like I know some people love to annotate and like stuff like that. It's just I've never done that before. I've never like.
Some people like to do it to every book they read, but I feel like because I was kind of thinking like I'd like to go back through the Hunger Games and just like annotate, but like only series I love, I even think about doing that.
I struggle to remember. Like, I'll, like, read a whole bunch, and then later I'll be like, oh, I should have written a note on that, and I didn't, and then, so, I don't feel like I got as many notes as I wish I would have, but,
yeah.
Anyway, so, jumping right into it, we're trying to figure out how to do these, because before we were like, okay, let's go, like, in order of the book, but then we're like, okay, is that too strict, like, let's just go with the flow, but then, I don't know, it's kind of hard.
It's like, where do you start?
Yeah.
Because... I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah.
I'm like, also, I feel like it's weird. Okay, us literally like 13 minutes into the episode, we haven't started talking about the book. I wonder if it would be different if we've ever been in like a book club. Because like, how do they talk about books?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they like sit and like have certain key points to go over, or I don't know.
Like, should we just talk about like key moments, or should we just like break down a book? Like, that's what I've been kind of torn at. Like, how do we?
I kind of like breaking down, but because I feel like when we do that, we come up with our key moments.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's just go in first.
My first note is chapter 4.
Okay, what'd you put?
I put Margot. Is that her name? Yeah, Margot. Margot needs to chill out. Also, guessing the Guardian will be the love interest.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I didn't realize we met him that soon. But anyways, I was typing Margot needs to chill out because it was like when Odessa got back from jumping off the cliff. Which now that I'm like thinking back to things that happened in the beginning and like versus the end of the book. Anyways, Odessa comes back from jumping off the cliff into the water, and then Margot's like getting her ready and just like all the things she's saying to her, and like so I was like, oh, chill out, girl. Like, why?
Yeah. She's so hard on her.
There's an immediate, like...
Also, I found that interesting right from the get-go that she had to cover up her hair color.
No, I literally wrote chapter 6. How... Okay, wait, what's your note?
I wrote on chapter 5. They had mentioned how all the family have, like, the little...
things in their eyes?
Things in their eyes, and she like, doesn't have it. And, like, everyone has it. So I was like, okay, that's going to be, like, a key thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember, because I guess she meets the Guardian. Sorry, going back to chapter 4. They meet because like Xavier and the Guardian come in and they're telling them what they did, like how they killed the 7 things, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, when they were explaining the whole like shield of sparrows and 7s, I was like, I'm lost. I was trying to take notes, but I was like, I don't even know what
I don't know. But they talked about it so many times throughout the book, and I still feel like I don't understand.
If you get it, you break it down and then go.
Yeah. Also, I'm like, I wonder, are we just stupid, or are they going to get into that in later books? I don't know. But when they like initially met, and the Guardian's like explaining everything, and Xavier's just not talking, I'm like, there's no way like that he's going to be the love interest. So it was off the bat was like.
So that's what I mentioned in a couple episodes ago when I was reading it, where I was like, I'm a little confused, and I was confused because I was like, when we looked up the book, it was like arranged marriage. and then immediately off the bat, the person that she married
wasn't the
like you could tell that's not who she was attracted to.
Yeah.
So it was like that's not the arranged marriage. That's not gonna hit like the same way. Like she's in arranged marriage, but she's not getting with the guy she's in arranged marriage. So I was like that's not gonna hit the same. No, I was like kind of confused, and then obviously how everything works out. But
we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I was like, and then also I was like, why won't you talk? Yeah. During the wedding, I was like, I'm sorry, why is he speaking for you? And then
no, that scene I was listening to it and I was like, I felt like I had to stop where I was standing. I was like, what is going? Like, you're at your whole wedding and you can't say a thing. Like, you're the other guy is like saying it all for you. Like, and this is the girl you're gonna marry. You're not.
And I will say that I got confused. For some reason when I was thinking back, I had thought that it was what's the name? His magic guy, the guy that the Voster. For some reason, I thought it was the Voster that said the words out loud. So I was like, I'm just confused. And then I realized, I remembered that it was the Guardian. So I was like, okay, like that makes sense. But yeah, like, so immediately she commented on like his blood and thinking that it looked like really dark or like an odd dark.
Yeah.
Like something.
I did not catch that. I did not.
And then, like, yeah, she keeps commenting on how, like, his hand's bandaged and Xavier's hand is bandaged. And she's like,
I did not
they have matching cuts or whatever. Is his healing as fast as hers?
So many things are so obvious when you look back.
I know. I'm like,
you just don't. No.
Yeah.
But also going back to that wedding scene, like while the Guardian was talking for him, and this is like the second scene now where we're seeing him talk for Xavier. I was like, I don't know, I feel like my mind's automatically like, okay, well, what's going on? Like, with the wrong things, though. I'm like, okay, well, somehow these two are, like, linked, and, like, maybe they're the same person, and, like, like, maybe Xavier is some sort of, like, I don't know, like, it was giving, like, Beauty and the Beast to me, where, like, he's cursed to be the Beast. So I'm like, maybe it's something where, like, he got cursed, and, like, now they're, I don't know. I was, like, just trying to figure something out.
I was
like, maybe they have, like, telepathic, like, they can talk telepathically, and that's why the Guardian talks for him. Or
so I will say, like, I did guess very early on that the Guardian was going to be the actual prince, because
I did not at all,
because her dad sent her there to kill the Guardian. It was a whole thing, like a whole, like, you have to kill the Guardian. And then during the wedding, it was this whole vow and like this blood oath that she would never be able to kill her husband. So it was like, she's not going to be able to, like, it. I feel like they focused on that so heavily, because it was like, she's not going to be able to kill her husband because it's the Guardian.
Yeah,
like,
I did not clock any of that.
Or the Guardian because it's her husband. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was one of those things, like, I was making guesses, like, as I was reading.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, but, like, I feel like I have a couple notes of, like, just the lead up until they leave. One thing, like, when Margot was packing her bag and she was shoving the hair dye in, I was just like, what is the point of this? Like, why can't...
And I was so ready for her to be done with it. Like, she did it way longer than I expected her to.
As soon as she was like, it'll wash out in a couple, like, you have 2 cans or something. I was like, okay, well, let's get this thing washed out so we can have your natural hair. Because I was like, this is going to be another thing where it's like...
Yeah.
I was expecting some sort of scene where, like, the Guardian was like, oh, your natural hair. And then... also, when Margot... I mean, classic scene of, like, she's going to get married. And Margot's like... well, do you know anything about... And she's like, well, I was with a boy from the stables. I'm like, why is it always a boy from the stables? Everyone's been with a boy from the stables.
Because they don't... Because it's, like, supposed to be the whole princess trope where they're,
I know, but not even that. Like, Feyre was with a boy from the stables. Like, it's always a boy from the stables.
Dude, the way I forgot about that. Yeah. What was his name? Oh, my God. Sorry.
Remember, but it's, like, it's always the classic, like...
I completely forgot about Feyre as the guy from the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is the boy from the
stables. It's
always
a boy from the stables. It's like what
most
they know.
Convenient, closest proximity.
As soon as they said that, I was laughing. It's like the same thing as like the contraceptive tea. Like it's always something like that.
Contraceptive tea. Every time they pull out that contraceptive tea, I just laugh. I'm like, so funny.
And then I also made a comment on. I was like, well, does Xavier speak at all? We find out he does. And then I said, chapter 9, she just wants her father's love. This is so sad. And I think that was the chapter where they're taking off. And like they're taking off, about to go on the boat.
Say goodbye.
What?
Like she thought they weren't gonna show up.
Yeah, but then also or maybe it wasn't that scene, but it was just one of the scenes where she was talking to her father before they left, and I was just like, it just like does he care at all? Yeah. Like he's not like there's no urge to like protect your daughter or prepare her or anything for what she's about to go into.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't have anything until, what do you have right now?
I just wrote like down a little note in chapter 12 when she like is walking on the boat and she like overhears the Guardian and Xavier talking, and like one of them's like, oh, it's spreading, and she was like, what's spreading? And I was like what's spreading? I remember being like,
oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah So that was like the first inkling we had that something
when
was
they were
going
on the boat. First of all, loved the boat setting. Like,
yeah,
I was just like,
it reminded me of Fearless a little bit.
It did. It reminded me of Fearless. But I was just having so much fun. I felt like I could picture it so vividly in my head.
Mm-hmm.
No, but when she was like, and the Guardian jumps off the boat and like swims so
I was like, where are you going? And then
I just pictured like Dash running on the water, but like in the water swimming to the boat. And like, I'm like, how are you like launching yourself up there to get on the other boat and stuff? Like,
and it felt very much like, look at me type situation. He's like showing off his powers. Like,
yeah.
So funny. But I will say, okay, so I was thinking about this as we were reading. Maybe people didn't like it. I don't know. I liked how the pacing of the book and like how it wasn't so action packed the whole time. It was very like just her seeing the world and like things coming as like it was just very like.
That's what I was having so much fun, because I was telling my mom, I feel like it's been a while since I've read a fantasy where there's creatures. Because I was talking to her about, like, this is the first fantasy Mom's read where it's, like, creatures.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's read Powerless, but that's, like, it's just magic, like, powers.
Yeah.
But this is, like, there's creatures, and there's, like, elements to the creatures, and I was having so much fun. It was, like, throwing me back to, like, Akatar and stuff like that.
Oh, and also, like, if you look at Devney Perry's Instagram, she has, like, drawings of, like, what they're supposed to look like.
Okay. Speaking of that, because I said in chapter 12, this is the scene where the giant sea creature is like coming after them, and they talk about something. I think they talk about there being like sort of a light on him or something, right?
I can't
or maybe they don't. I can't remember. But literally the whole time all I could picture was the fish from Finding Nemo that like has the light hanging in front of its head. And so like they're like, she's like in the water and she's like, I feel it coming up, and I just picture like the fish from Nemo. Like, why can't
that is so
I get
funny.
this out of my head?
Of that scene every time we watch it, because the screen goes black.
Who hits it?
No, speaking of the scene.
Oh, sorry.
Every time we watch it, you know how the screen goes like completely black, and it's like a whole part of it, like of Nemo and Dory being like, talking. I can't see. Not Nemo, Marlin, and Dory being like, I can't see. Like,
yeah.
And then every time my kids are like, I can't. What happened in the movie? I can't see.
Like, if you use your ears,
listen. Like, it's coming back. That's so funny that you picture that though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I jumped
Are
forward.
you going to when they're off the boat?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Another thing, like on the boat when Odessa's she's like starting to petition to want to be trained, and like she's like wanting a knife or wanting a sword or something. So the Guardian obviously starts slowly like giving her things and being like, well, can you handle this? Can you do this? And then the littlest scene of like when she was talking about his beard, and she's like, need to cut your beard, it's too long, and he like gives her his knife. She's like, okay, cut it. Like, I was just in my bed kicking my feet, giggling. Like, it's just such a classic. I don't know how to describe that feeling unless you're just reading and you feel it.
Yeah. Also, I just want to know what was going through his head. I mean, obviously it's a book, but like his head the whole time, knowing like he's the actual husband, and like he's over here like flirting with her. Like, what does he think about the fact that she's like kind of flirting back? Like, but she thinks she's married to someone else, but
like she knows.
Yeah.
All right, where did you jump to?
I jumped a lot. I jumped to 22. I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I know there's more, like when they get off and they're on their horse and she's on Freya and she's like, they're traveling and they make camp and everything.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to say about that.
I didn't really either.
But I did love, like, going back to what you said, like, I guess people thought it was slow or the pacing. I loved it, though. Like, when we got to, is it Trio? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Trio, I think. The one where it's, like, literally the tree houses.
Mm-hmm. I
was just loving that. Like, every time they were describing anything, I was having so much fun, like, visualizing it. Mm-hmm. And also, okay. So every night she was like, my ladder disappears. Was that the Guardian taking it to protect her?
To protect her, yeah.
No, once I like kind of put that together, because she kept talking about her freaking ladder disappearing. I was like, he's taking it to protect her. I was like, so cute.
Yeah.
Just a little thing. But no, I was loving like the settings of just, I don't know, getting to know all the land and stuff.
Yeah. Also, this is like the point where she's constantly asking to go to, what's the place again? Like Aliceria or something like that.
Something, yeah.
And she starts kind of wondering, like, is it even real? Because like they won't even talk about it.
No, I know.
And I feel like we like ended the book still not knowing anything, which is kind of fun. Like,
no, it gives me, I don't know, it's such a fun feeling because I truly don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of like fun how we got left, like, which is normal with fantasy books, but like we got left on cliffhangers. And I think that it's kind of funny, like our cousin was like, I need the second book now, but like we just read it, it's like a new release, so I'm like, dang, we all really have to wait.
Yeah, as soon as I finished it, I went to Devney Perry's Instagram to see anything.
Yeah.
And I think she said something about like she's writing it, but there's no release date yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I feel like we've never
started this
fresh. Like I read Powerless and Reckless, so I didn't have to wait necessarily for those. But like
you had to wait for Fearless.
If I had to wait for Fearless, but I feel like it was different because it was the third. So like I didn't have I could like read one book and then go into the next. But like with this, like we just have the one book, and like we're just waiting, and there's nothing else to do. Yeah. Anyways, what'd you get for chapter 22?
This is when the king comes.
Yeah.
I don't know where King's dad. Because it's not the king's dad, it's the king. Because I feel like the prince's dad. Yeah, the prince's dad. Because I feel like I got a little confused because he kept calling her my queen, but like they're technically not king and queen yet. Like that's for like they would be one day or whatever.
Also, yeah, I don't know if I wrote a note on that. Let me see. Okay, wait, I'll let you finish talking.
But he comes. This is the first time like we see him, and he burns the books, and I was like, "What is going on with this dude?" Like, dude,
I was like, "What is going on?"
I was like, "Dude."
Also, what is the librarian's name? Kathleen?
Yeah.
I was like, poor Kathleen.
No, I know.
Trying to keep her books safe over here, and this dude comes in, burns them.
And then the literal next chapter is 23, and I wrote, "She's a stepmother," like that.
So I
because that's when Evie gets
was
introduced.
not expecting Xavier to be a father. Like as soon as that little child came out, I was like, "What?"
And then I feel like I was like, I bet Rosie loves this because you love it when they bring in a kid.
So much fun. Every time there was an Evie scene, I was like, "Hey!" And then when she wasn't in there, I was like, "Well, where's
Evie? What's Evie doing right now?"
I just feel like it adds such a
element to it.
Also, I feel like I haven't read
a fantasy book with a kid. Yeah.
So it honestly was even more fun. It adds such a cool element to it.
Yeah, I can't think if there was any.
I don't think there's any fantasy we read where there's a kid.
Yeah.
No. Like, that's related to them. Or, like, I feel like...
Except for Cruel Prince, but that's, like, her little brother.
No, but like, this one, even though not necessarily, like I feel like Odessa, at least the way it ended off, like, she's taking on this motherly role. Yeah. Like, she is the only person right now for Evie.
Well, because, like, immediately she's like, I'm a stepmother, and she immediately assumes, like, a care.
She, like, immediately starts investing and, like, trying to get to know Evie.
Yeah.
And then it just adds such an interesting element. Because now, I feel like in fantasy, there's always the aspect of, like, the guy and the girl protecting each other. Like, they protect each other, but, like, the guy, like, trying to save the girl and protect the girl and stuff. But now it's, like, there's a whole kid.
Yeah.
So it adds this whole other element.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know. I love a good, like, scene. Like, obviously... It's not the Guardian's kid, but he like takes care of her and has a role in her life, and just
like,
seeing.
He's important.
I don't know. I like seeing that. It's attractive too. Like I like to see it. Also, wait. Okay, yeah. I was just not expecting Xavier to be. I was not expecting that element of the book at all.
No, I wasn't either. But I remember being like, when I heard Papa or whatever, I was like, "What? I'm sorry, what?"
Papa. You know when someone posts a TikTok and it's like a sad Hunger Games edit and they're like, "You were like Papa."
Yeah.
In the comments, anyways.
Yeah.
My next note is not till 33.
So I just wrote down like 26. Chapter 26 is where she like sneaks out, and then ends up like getting caught very quickly. When they go, like she goes to like another little town, the Guardian's there. Like he catches her immediately.
So good.
And so that was like a fun element of like her being somewhere else, but him like having to take care of her basically over there. And And I thought it was gonna be a one bed trope, but it ended up
No, I was waiting for it.
I know.
But also, I loved all those
how
scenes.
slow burn everything was.
I loved all the scenes where he like was just sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Like he had his own room, but he was just in there trying to like
protect her,
watch out and protect. But no, that was so.
And then there is where we get our real first interaction with like an infected, like creature.
Yeah.
It was a Tarkin or it was a lionwick. I think it was a lionwick.
I can't remember the names honestly.
And they run into Samuel and Jonas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the father-son duo. Which I'm interested to see where that goes.
Because I feel like
we got a little chunk of them, and then it kind of disappeared.
Yeah, and then when he was like, they were gonna like follow the Guardian and Odessa back, but like they probably weren't gonna stay there. I'm like, this just feels way too random to not be significant to the plot at some point.
Yeah. Like what is this gonna be? So I remember like if you read it, like that they focus on them for a few chapters, I feel like, and then it just like fizzled out. And so I'm like, that means it's gonna be later on something's gonna happen, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But that was very interesting. Also it made me laugh whenever she like found out that he was the author of like the one book that was like dissing her. She was like we're gonna talk about that. Which is funny.
But also that scene too, like the way he was giving his perspective and things he knew, and it was like starting to change her perspective on what she knew. Like
she started to realize that her view of things were skewed.
Yeah. So that was, I liked that because it was just like starting to give insight, and like things aren't all cracked, or things don't
all are what they are cracked up.
Things don't seem to be what they're cracked up to be.
You tell us, things aren't as they seem, or they're not all. What is
what is the saying? It's not all cracked up. Are you okay? I need to look this up.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just gonna skip down. And what you said, chapter 36 was your next one, or chapter
33?
Oh, okay, I'll let you go next then.
It's not all it's cracked up to be. Also, what is it? What's cracked up? Like
I don't know.
What is cracked mean?
Okay, what did you put? Wait, okay. 33?
Anyways, chapter 33. Nothing like relevant at all. I don't remember what the scene was. It was
relevant.
English language. What did I say?
You said relevant.
Relevant.
You said relevant. Relevant.
Relevant. Anyways, I think this was a scene where she was probably just interacting with Evie, and I was like, random theory. Somehow Xavier will die, and the Guardian Odessa will take Evie and embrace her. Which was just me wanting to like
her to actually be there.
I mean, it's a theory though, and I mean, but I was just also, I thought that would be fun, and I've never seen it in a fantasy, so my mind was hooked on that. But also all those little scenes of like
her spending time
when she starts to get to know Evie, and like Evie like comes and sleeps in the bed with her, and I was just like,
Evie like being sneaky too, like going down the tunnels or whatever they call them. And
no, that was okay. Yeah. What was in 36?
I put on 39.
Oh,
did you have something else?
No.
39 is when we find out the Guardian's name finally.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was like, dang, they waited so long into the book.
Yeah.
It's like over halfway to give us the Guardian's name, which is Ransom.
Does she finds out his name before she finds out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So his name is Ransom, which I was like, why is his name Ransom? And then there's King Ramsey, because I was getting them all mixed up.
I wonder if it's just like, it's supposed to be like that because it's like father-son
similar
thing. But no, as soon as we found out his name was Ransom and every chapter the king was there, I couldn't listen during those. I had to sit there and I would reread the names every 2 seconds. I'm like, who are you talking about right now?
Yeah.
Because I could not keep track. Yeah. Also, I don't have anything until 42.
Okay, I'm 43.
But all I wrote was, why is the king burning the books? Because this was the scene where
again,
he did it again. And I was like,
so the next scene, also the chapter where she finds out his name is also the chapter where she saves the Tarkin phase, right? Is what she calls it. So now she has the Tarkin, and then so chapter 43 is like where she's going up to go to bed, and she witnesses Jocelyn and Xavier and some other guy. Yeah, gross. But
when I saw Jocelyn and then Xavier, I was like,
No, I was listening at that point. I was listening and I was like thrifting. I was looking through clothes and I was just like,
no,
like that. I was like, you're kidding me. I was like, what? I was like, what is wrong with him? Like, she's desperately trying to get to know him and he won't give her any attention. And he's over here doing this with her ladies' maid.
It's disgusting on so many parts. Like, on Xavier's side, like, obviously we know what we know and that he wasn't truly her husband.
But your first thought is you don't know that.
She doesn't know that. So he knows that she doesn't know that. So why is he not, like, I don't know, just disgusting. I'm like, why would you not protect that more and, like, I don't know, try to uphold the image too?
Yeah.
And but then also Jocelyn the portrayal on Jocelyn's side, because Jocelyn doesn't know any of it. So for her, it's just like
her husband, her person's husband.
Yeah, for Jocelyn, it's just like her fully betraying. Because at least, like as much as it's like, why did Xavier do it? Like Xavier does have the knowledge that like this isn't his actual wife.
Yeah,
which but Jocelyn knows none of that. And I was just like
I know. Have you ever heard that? It's her hearing aids. They're dying.
But anyways, I was just so upset. Like the betrayal.
No, I know. And so then immediately she's like running away, and the next chapter is when so like the Guardian basically like witnesses, like he's like, what's going on? And Xavier's like, I'm sorry. And so then he follows her, and we get the whole breakdown of finding out that he is actually but like before
we find that out, when she was like crying about why
is she never enough?
Why am I gonna why am I never enough?
I teared up during that because I was like
so sad. She's
like, why can it never be me? Why am I never enough? And like you think about it from her whole life perspective, like her sister's the younger sister. Traditionally, the older sister would be chosen for.
So it's like she's favored and and then like her stepmother doesn't show any care towards her, and like even her father, like even though I feel like you can tell like he does care some way, maybe, but it's like there's no where's the actual actions.
The whole that whole scene of her being like, why am I never enough? Why can it never be me? I was just like heartbreaking, so sad.
No, but then you find out that Ransom is actually the husband,
and his actual name
that
is
whole thing
Xavier.
When they were explaining like why Xavier pretends to be the prince, I was like,
very interesting.
Like I understand it, but I'm also just like, why? Because in my head I'm like, one day you're gonna have to do something and like people are gonna see that you're the prince. But I guess like they talked about them being lookalikes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but back to the Odessa and Ransom, like the way she's like, we literally just talked about how she was struggling with the why am I never enough, and like struggling with that, and like the betrayal of Jocelyn. So like she's dealing with those feelings, but also she literally says something in there about like
feeling relieved.
Or Ransom was like, why are you relieved that your husband like cheated on you? And she's like, in her head she's like relieved because it's these attraction feelings she's having towards Ransom. It's like she can just feel that now, and she doesn't have to like feel guilty for it. Yeah, because I mean, obviously they have chemistry, but it's like those two opposing emotions were just interesting.
Yeah, I wrote down, this is what I wrote. I kind of suspected the Guardian may be the prince just because of the blood oath and how serious it was. Like they were talking about it when they did the blood oath, like how she would like how connected they would be forever. Yeah. And I was like, how is she gonna be with the Guardian if she's like that with Xavier?
But so also they were so connected from the beginning. It's like
like that they could never betray each other. Like it was like till death type thing. Like for real. Not like they couldn't just step away. And so I was like, how is she gonna be with Xavier but yeah. And then also it's kind of like perfect, I feel like, because immediately when she has those feelings of like, why am I never enough, why is it never me, she finds out that like the Guardian sees her and chooses her like right off the bat. So that's kind of fun. Like I feel like
was it that scene where he was talking about how when he showed up to Roslo that he saw her jumping off the cliff? Was that the scene? Yeah, I know. Yeah. When I was reading that, so I didn't even think about it till we started this episode and I talked about her jumping off the cliff. I was like, it was just making me relive. Like he saw that, like that moment that was so for her. Like,
and so he already knew her hair was red. Too.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about it because of all that. But so good.
So that is where I forgot.
That is where you stop taking notes. Okay, I talked about in chapter 48, I wrote down that I think Luella is actually Evie's mother.
Yeah. As soon as we found out that...
As soon as we found out that Xavier wasn't truly...
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Luella. Like, why else would she be the teacher? Why else would she spend so much time caring for her?
Did we find out...
So very quickly after that, we find out that her mom... That basically, like, the king always loved the queen, but the queen did not really have feelings for the king. And so she had, like, a sad guy that she was always with. But...
Did we find out that Luella was Ransom and Evie's mom at the same time? Or did we find out that... Okay, yeah. I think it was after we found out that Xavier wasn't the dad. Also, sorry, going back to... going back to Odessa and Ransom, a little bit before the chapter 44, somehow it just clicked in and I was like, he calls her my queen constantly. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's just a nickname. Like, there's so many books where it's just like, oh, my queen, my, like, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like, it finally just hit me and I was like starting to think about it. I was like, my queen, like, he constantly says this. And like, obviously they would technically be prince and princess, but like, once they are in that position, like, that was where my wheels started turning and I was like, oh my gosh. And then literally the next chapter was that. So it was like, I barely had any time of thinking that, but it was such a, you know, when you just hit that moment where something kind of like unlocks in your brain and you're just like...
Also that they do it several times in the book where she's like, I hate you, and he's like, yes you do. And then at the very end, I was like, I love you, yes you do. Like, I was just like, I don't know.
No, so I have a couple more. Sorry. Chapter 54 is when Odessa... What is her first kill again? I can't remember. She kills...
Oh, when her and... what's his name? When her and Ransom, like, finally come together, like there's like proof that there's like feelings there or whatever, and they like do the do and stuff. The next day when he like gets called away for some attack, somebody attacks her like outside, like right under her treehouse or whatever,
and then she kills him.
He's like choking her, like she's about to die, and so she kills him.
Is it that?
Yeah. And then his like, he has the green blood, because she has a whole moment when when she wakes up and she's like can't even talk, and then Ransom comes and she's crying to him because she was like, I killed somebody.
No, so that's why I wrote it down, because I was like, that I feel like I've never seen a scene where the character really goes through emotions of like, oh, I just killed someone, like for the first time. Like, I feel like I can't remember anything, but like that, her processing it, and then Ransom just like, I don't know, being there with her, like it was just such a, I don't know, it's just really like, I like that chapter. It was just interesting to read and like see that perspective of like, this hits her, and it's not just like, because I feel like most fantasies, it's just like the machine, like war killing woman, like nothing wrong with it. Like, she's like strong,
and a lot of the ones we've read, like where you come in, they're already
like, killing. So it's like there's no like
she
thing.
Started
so
out
like, we
from
see
nothing.
Odessa
we're seeing her
have to come over that. We see her have to like just, I don't know, make peace with it and like realize that she had to do it and like just process the feelings that come along with it. And then also it's just a sweet moment of
them
Ransom being with her, and like obviously he's killed, so he understands it. And
I saw a TikTok, someone was talking about the book, saying that they didn't feel like they had any chemistry, and I was like, what are you talking about?
They had so much. They had chemistry from page 1. Like,
I felt so too.
That's what I felt. So I don't know. And then so when Evie takes, I think this is the scene when Evie takes Odessa down into the little cellar thing that Luella has, and she's looking at a book, and she realizes that the emblem on the book is the same in the one in her necklace.
And we still don't really know.
I immediately was like, what is going on? Like, I was just so hooked in, and we still don't know what that is.
Yeah. Very quickly after this is like when we basically find out that Luella is like the one who started the...
No, that was insane.
Luella is the one who...
I listened to the whole chapter and I had to go back. Because I was like, what?
I was like, what? So basically Luella is the one who what do they call it?
The... Lysa.
Wow, that left my brain. is the one who started Lysa, but it was like an accident because it was like she was creating this antidote for like this like magical antidote for like illness, and then she gave it to her son, which it didn't work on him.
Yeah.
And then he got bit.
I felt so bad in that moment though, like the way Ransom was like
the betrayal.
It felt like a betrayal.
Yeah, because like I feel like we haven't really talked about it. Like obviously the whole time we've really mentioned like yeah he has it and he's pretty much like constantly dying, and then also like the
let's just not bring it up.
Yeah, the Voster like is like sucks the power, or is the high priest sucks the power out. Or
I thought it was the Voster.
Yeah, the Voster.
The Voster.
But the
because
something we haven't mentioned
Odessa doesn't trust her.
Every time Odessa gets around the high priest, she starts feeling like that feeling of magic, and then she discovers that they're like they don't feel that.
Yeah.
That no one else knows what she's talking about.
She's like talking to Ransom and he's like,
girl, what?
What are you talking about?
She's like, you can feel it. And he's like,
feel what?
Feel what? So that is very intriguing. And like, we still don't really have an answer for that. So there's
so many things we don't know.
Yeah.
Also,
so we know that Luella is the one that started the whole thing. And she's basically like, we start discovering like the amount of blood oaths.
Things.
So many people can't say things because of the blood oaths.
No,
like,
that's
Kathleen
crazy.
Couldn't say anything because she was. So that's why she was giving her books the whole time, was to try to get her thinking.
That was such a crazy moment, and like when you like realize like all the gestures people do, like Kathleen giving her the books, or like the way she would ask Ransom things and he couldn't say, but he would like give a look or give a nod somehow, and it was just like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything? I'm gonna go to like
go ahead.
Almost the last chapter when what is it called, the big fiery bird thing?
Well,
what
before that shows up, like right when all that starts to go down is like they're saying goodbye because he's gonna leave, right?
Yeah.
To like go kill more of the whatever, the more creatures, and then the king shows up with like a whole army, basically ready to attack, and so then all this stuff starts happening, like. All of a sudden, you see Banner, and we're like, why is he here? And it's like her high priest from her place, Quintus or whatever.
When I saw Banner walking, I was like, what is he doing here?
And then, is it Brianna or whatever, like comes running out, and they're like crying, and like he's like, I want my fiance back. No. And they think that she's talking about Odessa, and then I was like, you're kidding me. And I was like, I felt like, okay, that shocked me. But I was just like, I guess it wasn't really a betrayal because like they were already together.
No, like from Brielle, is that her name? From Brielle's side, like that was them being together before, and then he had to get engaged, so like they cut it off. And
but then what's her name came back, right? What was her name?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn comes back.
What does she do? She does something.
She was basically the spy the whole time.
when they revealed that, I was like,
what the heck? I was like, this poor girl. Like, she's just trying her best, and everybody's like betraying her, like keeping secrets from her.
I was surprised with that. Like, I mean, it was kind of obvious, but I just wasn't seeing that coming.
So doesn't then the bird thing starts coming down, right?
Yeah.
And then it cuts Brielle in half, right? Brielle dies right off the bat,
I think so.
Yeah. I should have written down all the people that died.
No, I know, because I put chapter 62. Oh my gosh, everyone is dying.
No.
Everyone was dying.
So we were reading this, or I was reading this. We were on out for her birthday. We were on like a little mini road trip. And so on the way back, I was reading the last couple chapters, and she was driving, and that's why I kept going.
Yeah. But wait,
because everyone was dying.
I don't think Brielle didn't die right away though, because so when Banner tries to start killing her, was Brielle already dead?
I think.
Is that why he was trying to kill her? Because
and then Luella gets chopped in half.
So like when she killed Banner, I was like, oh my gosh, and then Luella, and
that
then,
one made me go, oh,
and
like,
then
that was really...
when Xavier came out, and she's like carrying Evie, ready to go, and then like he dies. And then Evie has to see it, and she has to see it, and I was just like, everyone was dying. I swear there was more people, but I can't remember everyone.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Did Jocelyn die too?
Part of me wants to say I can't.
Or just even like side characters, like she was running at one point.
Oh, and then what's her name? The girl that trained her.
Oh my gosh.
Her husband leg gets cut off or something. And I was like, oh,
and
like
she's about to pop herself.
Pregnant.
I was like, she's pregnant. Like
she's about to pop, and then
yeah.
So like how, but it does end where like we get a little like Xavier's not actually dead, and then
I was like, okay,
she's trying to do that to us. He's trying to save his life or whatever with his leg, but yeah, that was like wild. And so she immediately is like on the run, and then Ransom's like take Evie, and he was saying like to go to Syria. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know why we can't remember, but he was telling her to go there and that he would find her.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh no, they're separated.
And I knew it was coming. There was something in me that was like, they're gonna get separated, because I was telling her like I felt like I struggled for a second there. Not that it wasn't slow burn, but I was like, okay, they're already together. But then I was like, okay, well, they're probably going to do some sort of like, they're going to be split up and like, they're not going to get to be together.
Because in her mind, she's like, they're already together, but it's a fantasy and it's supposed to be a trilogy. So we're like, why are they already together? Yeah, but they still, even though for a first book, they didn't get together until like near the end.
No, they didn't. And that's why I wasn't trying to say that, but I was just, but then I was like, okay, there's going to be something that separates them.
So they get separated, and then she like goes off,
runs into the Voster, and he puts the torches out, right?
Yeah, something like that. He like
makes it black, pitch black,
and then like, she's like, because Ransom trusts him, I'm just gonna trust him too.
Yeah.
And then we get Ransom's point of view.
No, when I flipped and it was like Ransom was like,
yeah, I felt like I was in fourth wing.
I literally felt like
the last chapter was always Aiden.
Yeah.
And so that was wild. So it's like we immediately get his point of view, and it's like the day after, and he's like saying how he went up on he jumped on the back of the big old bird thing or whatever, and like was trying to kill it, and then as they fell and landed, like it was a woman with red curly hair.
That was crazy. I'm like, that has to be Odessa's mother.
Yeah, he even says,
yeah, like there has to be some, and I'm like so curious about it, because like what, like does her father think that her mother is dead? Because wasn't it said that like
she died? That's what they said.
No, but wasn't it said something like, was it Samuel who said something that alluded to like the father killing her mother? I feel like I remember something about
Samuel that. Basically Samuel, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically alluded to like something with the mother's death was off and like covered. Yeah. And so I'm really very intrigued to see.
Also, I'm like, is she gonna
where
be able
this goes?
Is Odessa gonna be able to turn into this bird? Like, what's gonna?
Yeah, is that why Odessa can feel magic?
Like, is that why she doesn't have those eyes? Like, what?
What is this?
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
but then we also get told that like Xavier and I think is it Tilia?
I want to say
her husband are in the
critical care basically.
So I'm like, okay, maybe Xavier's gonna make it, but also I kind of want Evie to be theirs. Anyways, and then the last line is to find my wife.
To find my wife.
I love it.
Good old classic last line.
Find my wife.
It was a really good book.
I
fully enjoyed it. I'm so excited to see where she takes it. Devney Perry, I've never read any other books of hers, but Rosalie has.
I've read 2 of her romances, and they were good. But I was not expecting her to write such a good fantasy.
Yeah,
I think she did so good.
It was a really good book. Yeah. Even our cousin was like, this like pick of the month was so good. Like I saw all the hype for it, and that's why I wanted to read it. And I was like, let's just do it for the book club.
Wasn't expecting to like it.
I really enjoyed it. It's been so
I feel like
good.
It's hard now because we read so many fantasies that not everyone's gonna hit the same.
Yeah.
But this one was one of those where it's like it hit hard. Yeah.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the arranged marriage aspect. It's one of my favorite tropes. They're not like enemies to lovers, but they're just like, I don't know what you'd call that, like opposers to lovers, like rivals kind of, but not all the way. But I don't know, it was like really
like annoyance.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. Like, I don't know, I just love the whole aspect of like her going into this blind, and like she was not prepared for this, and like her learning along the way, and also like her trying to piece things together, like building her own little map, and like
that was so fun, that little scene.
Yeah,
it was really good. So whenever the next one comes out, I'm like, we'll do that one.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us what you thought. If you haven't,
tell us your rating.
Yeah,
theories.
I feel like that was a great pick for the month. Like, it ended up being so good, and it was fun. I feel like, because obviously we're starting this podcast from the ground up, so not everybody's gonna be like in it with us from the beginning. But
this was our first one where people started commenting.
Like, our mom was like, because our mom has done all the books with us, but I feel like she was even more invested with this one. than she has been before. At least, well, you live with her, but maybe you get to see more.
Yeah.
But
she was really invested in Unmaking the Toon Fairy.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything from her for that one because you live with her. But anyway, just I feel like, and then our cousin read it, and then like we had some other people finally like joining on the Fable. Yeah. So it's just
nice
been a lot of fun.
to know that people are doing stuff with us.
Yeah. Like if you go on the Fable, like if you don't know what Fable is, like if you know what Goodreads is, Fable is like a more modern version of that basically. And so you can create book clubs on them. That's how we have our book club set up. And then it, like you choose the book and then it breaks it down chapter by chapter. So like if you're reading it, and it's kind of fun. It's like a little reward. Like I'll be reading it and then I'll see that she commented on chapter 44. Yeah. So then I'm like, and so I'm like, I know as I'm reading, I'm like, I'm going to go look as soon as I read that chapter because I'm going to go see what they thought. And so it's just kind of fun to like pop in and.
But we had like 2 people for the first time comment this month and like nobody has yet. So it was fun to get to.
Because we've had people like message us like on Instagram and stuff. And I'm like, girl, comment on the Fable.
So everyone can see it.
Yeah. And people have been. So it's been a lot of fun. But anyway.
Right.
Thanks for listening. This one's so long. Apologies. But.
A lot to say.
Yeah.
We'll let you know next week, or if you check our Instagram, you'll know sooner what the book club of the month for July will be.
Yes.
Alrighty. We don't even know.
So. Yeah, we haven't even. We need to discuss it. But all right. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.